Hi, and welcome to NextAstro. In this video tutorial, we're going to learn how to use the NextAstro Image Lab tool to make an astronomical color image using 3 black and white images taken in different filters. The first thing you need to do is to log into NextAstro, hub.nextastro.org, and make sure you're logged in. And next thing is we've got to navigate to the NextAstro Data Center. You can do this by clicking on Archive up here, or Data and Images over here. Once you enter the data center, your user ID should already be populated. Now, the data center allows you to access data that has been observed through the NextAstro Robotic Telescope Network, and you even have your own folder on this data center that stores your particular images that you asked it to send to your own folder. If you didn't request the images to be sent to your own folder, they will be in the data center. So, NextAstro, here's my username is populated. You can search using a whole host of different filters. This is the different telescopes that are around. You can search by the filters on telescopes, right ascension, declination, the name of the object, date. It's a whole lot of things. But for this tutorial, we're going to focus on just this part. We're going to select stacks only. These are the images that have been stacked. So the robotic telescopes, when they do an observation, they take a lot of little images and they stack them together to get the best resolution, best quality, what we call signal to noise. And then you click on only show the results with color images and click search. And down at the bottom, you can see that the results are shown. And I'm going to go to this one, and over here you'll notice it says filter RP, filter BV, and filter BB. So blue, visible, or green, and red. So these three, red, green, blue, they've been combined to create this color image automatically. But you can do it yourself, and you can do it way better than the computer doing it by itself. And so what we need to do is we're going to take the red, green, and blue files, and we're going to take them into the NextAstro Image Lab. And the way you do it is any of these three, you can click on Open in NextAstro Image Lab. It can be this one, this one, or this one. It doesn't matter. The code will take the appropriate layers and put them into the NextAstro Image Lab. I'm going to do it with this one. This is the first one. Here's the NextAstro Image Lab. It's a very simplified interface. Not a lot of things to focus on, especially in this tutorial. There's a whole lot of functions that this lab has, but we're just going to focus on making a color image. Down at the bottom you have your layers. I will talk about these soon. Over here you have a set of tools, and over here you have some properties for each of these layers. Up the top you have a drop down with some adjustments for the image, flatten global image, and here you can save your project, export it as a PNG, and export it as a PSD. Okay, that's the basics. Now, when your images load into the NextAstro Image Lab, in your case when you use it, these layers will be labeled with the appropriate filter name, so you don't have to guess which filter this is. This red, or is this red, which one's green? So yours will actually have the layers labeled. Now, because these aren't labeled, I'm going to label them myself. This one is red. I just click on the layer name. I'm going to change that to R. Again, you don't need to do this. This will already be done for you. This one, no, this one's blue. And this layer, I'm going to turn it on, is green. You notice I turned them off to see which one was. Now I can click and drag the layers and order them in any way I like. It doesn't matter, but I like to order them red, green, blue. That's just me. Okay. Now, the next thing, which is a very important step, this canvas is now black and white, grayscale. We need to convert it into RGB, so we have 3 channels, red, green, and blue. We're going to click on this button here, and it says convert to RGB mode. We click it, and OK. Notice over here it changes to RGB mode enabled, and this one changes to grayscale. Now it has 3 channels, red, green, and blue. Now we're going to go and colorize each layer with the appropriate color that matches the filter. So red needs to be red, green needs to be green, and blue needs to be blue. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the top 2 most layers. So I only have the red layer. Then I'm going to go up here where the adjustments were. I'm going to select hue saturation. I'm going to click add. Notice over here the properties changes to hue saturation. I can even name this hue saturation for red, right? So that I know. Next thing I'm going to do is click on colorize. And I'm going to bump the saturation to 100. Lightness to -50. So that's red. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on green, turn the layer on, add an adjustment layer, hue saturation. I'm going to call this hue saturation green. The reason it's good to name these is when you have a lot of layers and you get a lot of adjustment, you actually know which one corresponds to which one. I'm going to colorize this, saturation to 100, lightness to a -50, 52, 50s, yeah, that's close. And this is the green one, so I'm going to move the hue to 120, which is close one. Now, once you're comfortable with this, you can play around with different greens and different shades of red and blue. And the blue layer, I'm going to click on it. Notice it's highlighted. I'm going to add a hue saturation. I'm going to call this hue saturation blue. I'm going to colorize it. Move the saturation up to 100. Filter lightness to -50. And blue is 240. There we go. That's blue. I forgot to turn it on. That's why you didn't see it. Turn it on now. Okay, so that's done. And now here's the magic. What's happening is each of these layers are on top of each other and you can't see through them. So the light or the color is not mixing through. Essentially, the color has to mix through for us to get a color image, which means we have to make these transparent and allow the colors to mix. So the first thing we're going to do is click on blue and change the blend mode to screen. Nothing has happened yet. Green, we're going to change that to screen. And red, we're going to change that also to screen. Notice, now you have a color image. What else can you do? Now you've actually made a color image, but you can tweak this and enhance this a lot more, depending on how confident you are and what you want, what you're trying, what aspects of the image you're trying to bring to the fore. So one other thing we can add, which is very powerful, is a levels. So we go levels adjustment, click on add, and on the levels, you can see over here, each of these adjustment layers is applied to the layer below. So what we're going to do is we're going to select levels, and over here is the levels toolbar. Click on histogram, and you get the histogram tool. You can adjust the levels for each filter, or you can do it only in the master one. And we're going to focus on the master one because it's important. You can resize this any way you want. And here's your black input. Notice the image changing. I can change the levels for each of these layers, right? I can even change it for each channel in a layer. So it gives me a lot of flexibility. The benefit of using adjustment layers is that it doesn't change the raw data. It only changes, puts an adjustment on top of it. I can click on apply. If I'm happy with this, I can click on apply and it will apply it to this. If I'm not happy with this, I can delete the levels adjustment layer and I can add it again if I'm not happy with it. Or I can add the levels. Oh, this is applied to the top one, and I can move it down here. I can click on the levels, click on the histogram. If I change it, I can reset my input. I can take it back to where I want. So for each of these layers, you can add an adjustment layer, adjustment levels layer, which allows you to actually control the levels for each individual filter. So here's blue. You can see that I can make this look quite different. One of the things with making color images in astronomy is that we want the sky to be as black as possible and the stars to be the right colors. You don't want purple stars or pink stars. You want stars to have the colors of the actual stars that are there, whether it's a red star, white star, blue star, or creamy yellow star. And you want the background to be as black as possible. But the other thing you want to do is you want to bring out different features in the image, right? And that's, again, being able to manipulate each of these channels gives you control of different features, different aspects of the image. There'll be different people working in astronomical color imaging and astro imaging, and they will have different views on what things should be. But at the basic level, you want the image to somehow reflect in ways what the object should look like if you could see in those different types of wavelength. Once you're happy with your image, you have various options. You can save your project, and this will save it to your My Drive space. Or you can export it as a PNG, which is a flattened image, or you can export it as a PSD, which is a layered image that you can take into Photoshop and manipulate it even further. So just to show you how it works, I'm just going to export a PNG. It's going to ask you to create a directory, a drive. So I'm going to call this M17 trial. Don't use spaces, either use underscore, don't have spaces. Click on OK. Now it's going to save it into My Drive space M17 trial. And I'm going to call this color M17 PNG. Okay. And it's going to start exporting it. I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to come back. Okay, this has finished exporting. And if I go back to the data center, I scroll up, My Drive space, come here and see there's a folder called M17 trial, and there's the color PNG, and you can select it and you can download it from the data center. So that is a quick video tutorial showing you how to use the NextAstro Image Lab to create a color image from 3 black and white astronomical images taken to the NextAstro Robotic Telescope Network. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. See you in the next video. Thanks.